Hi guys, I am Rain and this is Authentically Autistic. Start with battery power, or spoons as some people call it. My battery power for the day is probably about 13%. It's not great. I did not get much sleep last night. I've been having a really hard time sleeping. I'm under a lot of stress. So my sleep schedule has been all wonky, and a lot of times it's looked like getting to sleep at 6 in the morning like I did last night, and still having to wake up. I didn't wake up like early, but I did not get 8 hours of sleep. I think we woke up at like 10:30, something like that. So yeah, not a lot of sleep. I had a few unfortunate incidents yesterday that sort of bled into today's battery power shortage. One of them was the sleep. I also found out that my caseworker is getting transferred to a different department, so she can't be my caseworker anymore, which really sucks because I liked her a lot. They're of course going to give me somebody else, and they're trying to make the transition as easy as possible, which I really do appreciate, but it's a little heartbreaking because I liked her a lot, and as previously discussed, I don't like change very much. I'm not a huge fan of routine change. I'm not a huge fan of personnel change or anything like that. So it's a little bit frustrating and sad. But yeah, so that happened. I also broke down and finally tried to like do one of the online therapy things, not therapy things, psychiatry things. I won't say which one because I'm sure they're super helpful for other people, but for whatever reason, it did not go as well for me. It seemed like it was going to. I was diagnosed for the 4th time in my life with ADHD because I don't ever keep medical records or doctor's records or keep in touch with anybody after I move, and so like I've just had to get re-diagnosed each time that I need help with it. Oh, there goes my thing again. These bumpy roads. So I was cautiously optimistic before the appointment, and was like, maybe I'll finally be able to get help, because I've been waiting through my therapist, through the company she works for, to get a psychiatry appointment for months now, and she's not sure why, and I'm not sure why, but nobody's gotten in contact with me about it, and so I was like, maybe this is it, I'll just do it this way. And it seemed like it went really well. I got diagnosed again, which was a concern I had. I was worried that they would think that I didn't have ADHD or something like that, because it's such a brief meeting. It's only a half an hour, and I know that there's concern over like abuse or people like lying to get the medication in this case. So that didn't happen. She was like, nope, definitely ADHD from what I can tell, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And she filled out the prescription, sent it to my local Walgreens, and because of my insurance, they apparently my insurance doesn't like that the prescription comes from out of state technically when you go through that service. And so there's a barrier there, and I'm trying to figure out like if there's anything I can do about it, essentially, or if I just like wasted my money on this online therapy thing. So we'll see. So that kind of bled into today, because I was really like, I got my hopes really up after that appointment. I was like, okay, everything went well. She filled out the you know, the prescription, I'm gonna have help tomorrow is like kind of what I got in my head. And then today came, the prescription's not there and they can't do anything about it, at least right now. So that was super frustrating. And I had a proper therapy appointment today, and it was a bit rougher than I thought it was going to be. I ended up crying, which I like almost never do in front of people, even my therapist, which I know I shouldn't be weird about that, but it's very difficult for me to be vulnerable in front of people that I'm not very intimate with. These bumps are killing me. I need to get a better mount situation so that these terrible Colorado roads aren't causing problems all the time. So yeah, it was a little bit rougher of an appointment, but she did say after today's appointment that she's going to really like try and figure out what's going on with the psychiatry thing, because apparently it shouldn't take this long. I just thought this was how long it took, and I was like, well, maybe I can bridge the gap with this online thing, but apparently it should not be taking this long, and there's some sort of problem going on. She doesn't know what it is, so gonna try to figure that out. It was a bit of a rough appointment, and then right after that appointment I had to go straight into doing a bunch of court paperwork stuff and getting bank statements to prove a bunch of things, and it was all super hectic, but all of it's turned in now. So that's why I think I'm at like 13% instead of like a much lower, 3% or 1% or something after no sleep and stressful appointments over the past 2 days. Is because I got it done. My court paperwork is officially turned in. It is out of my hands now. I am trying to protect my kids, essentially. I'm trying to fix my custody agreement so that they don't have to go to an abusive household, and I am trying to get my ex to pay the back child support, which has been owed for over a year now and is over $7,000. So it was 3 separate sets of paperwork, and I've just felt like I was drowning for the past few weeks while I've been trying to like fill out this court paperwork and talk to lawyers for just hours on end and go into the courthouse and make sure that the court paperwork's filled out correctly, and then make copies of it and then send the copies where they need to go, and just all of these things. And it's finally just all turned in, out of my hands. Now it is just a matter of waiting for the court to tell me what days I have to be there and showing up and facing these people, which is going to be difficult. Like, I'm sure that's going to be an emotional strain, but it is not the like complex, tedious, arduous strain of like having to like read through all these documents and figure all of this out, and that's just been taking so much out of me for the past few weeks. So that's finally in. That's why I'm at like 13 instead of much lower after the past couple days that I've had. Because I'm at such, I've been so stressed. I've had so many like stressful incidents. I've been doing a lot of stimming today. Mostly my like extra stress stims, which is like rubbing my legs. I wear these textured leggings every day. I have like 7 pairs of these textured leggings, and so I've been doing a lot of that, rubbing my legs, stimming, and unfortunately chewing my lip skin and peeling my lip skin off. So I don't know if you can see it in the video because I do the cartoon thing with most of my videos, but my lips look rough. It looks like it's like the middle of winter and I have super chapped lips, and that's not what's happening. I'm just super stressed out and picking the skin off. So that's stims. tips for the day. You'll notice that I haven't posted a video. If you're keeping up with things or paying attention to when these things are posted and stuff, you might notice that I haven't posted that I haven't posted a video in a few days. I'm not even sure when. I know I made 2 videos in there. I'm not sure if I'll post those or not, honestly, because I don't like having to do like back work, and if I'm gonna do work, I just want it to be moving forward. So like, I'm not sure if I'll post those or not. But part of my tip for the day is in relation to that, where if you feel like you only have, let's say, 20% battery to start your day, you really have to figure out which things to put that battery percentage to. And it can be difficult with a lot of the things that autism entails, like executive dysfunction issues and stuff like that. But like, some days I have to prioritize one thing solidly, and some of these days that one thing has been this court paperwork, and I'm like, I might not get a video done today, I might not get a shower done, I might not eat the healthiest food, I might not brush my teeth, which sucks, and like, those things are important to me, and I want to accomplish those things every day and have routine and structure around them. But if my main goal that day, if the most important thing is for me to get this court paperwork done, then that's what I have to dedicate all of that time to, and all of the spoons or the battery power. And if that court paperwork takes 17% of my battery, and I don't have a way to recharge my battery that day, then at least I got that done. And so I think it's a couple parts there, one of which is like prioritizing, like, if absolutely nothing else gets done today, what's the most important thing on my list? And the other part of that is like forgiving myself for not getting the other things done. And I think I think those 2 parts are equally important, because I struggle with both of them in different ways. Like I said, with the executive dysfunction, it's very difficult for me to see a clear, like, this is the most important thing that I need to do, and it gets muddled sometimes. So like, I'll struggle with that a little bit. This person doesn't have a sub sign. What are they doing? So I struggle with that part to that extent, but I really do struggle with forgiving myself afterwards, and being like, well, you got the main thing that you had to get done today, so good job. It's okay that you didn't shower, it's okay that you didn't rest, it's okay that you ate some unhealthy food, it's okay. Like, I struggle with that a lot. So I think that's my tip for the day, is like, prioritize your one thing that you have to get done, and then forgive yourself for not getting to the other stuff. Autism thing of the day. Honestly, I don't know today. I'm having a hard time thinking of one. I know there's like 100, because I have like a bunch of them written down in preparation for like my evaluation stuff. You know what? Let's do that. Self-diagnosis versus evaluation. So an interesting thing about autism, unlike many other psychological dysfunctions or issues or neurological issues or whatever you want to call it, one of the interesting things about the autism community is that there's a pretty 50-50 split between people who are self-diagnosed and people who have a formal diagnosis. I put the quotes because I was going to say proper, but then I didn't end up saying proper. So there you go. And the reason that there's such a divide there is because it is so difficult to get a formal diagnosis. I signed up to be on the waiting list to get a diagnosis 2 months ago. And I recently called to check where I was at in the waiting list or how this worked, and was told that at the earliest I would be seen in May. It is September right now. So it's a little disheartening that it takes so long. And a lot of people decide that it's just not worth it, which is one component there. There's also a lot of people that have attempted to get a diagnosis and have been told real weird things. I've heard a lot of them. I've heard some people be told you can't be out by doctors, by people that are supposed to be able to diagnose this, that you're not autistic because you have friends. You are not autistic because you are married. And autistic people aren't capable of getting married or having meaningful relationships. You're not autistic because you're too creative minded or creative. Yeah, all sorts of things. And the reason that this happens is because they initially, when they were like structuring the diagnosis and testing for autism, structured it largely around white males, specifically like white boys, younger males. And so they only saw the traits applicable to that one group of people. And what happens with a lot of females is they get really good at masking, because society has taught these girls that, or AFAB, female at birth, that they have to be social and that they have to be welcoming and kind and warm. And so a lot of females like try and figure out ways to interact with people in the ways that society expects them to, and that's what they look like masking. Whereas it's more acceptable socially for a young white boy to be a little bit more crude and I'm trying to think of the right word, intellectually minded, distant, whatever. So that's one component. Another component is they just didn't even test a lot of black and brown people for these sorts of things. So nobody knows what that looks like in this group of people. And the differences between, again, societal expectations and what that ends up looking like in those groups. And they also, the criteria wasn't fully established, and so they thought that autism, and they used to call high functioning autism Asperger's, they thought that I'm trying to adjust that while I'm driving. It's not great. They thought it only could be that if you missed all social cues and you only stimmed like this, and there were all these things, but it's such a weird way to diagnose things. And so there's all sorts of diagnostic problems and issues with the way that doctors treat people that are autistic. And so a lot of people go undiagnosed, they get misdiagnosed. A lot of people decide that it's not worth it. And so we see a lot of these things. And I don't blame anybody for not trying to get a diagnosis or not having one and claiming to be autistic. Because I myself don't have a formal diagnosis. I do have my therapist who has said that she is so sure that I am autistic, but she's not allowed to formally diagnose me or tell me that I definitely am, because that's not her words. I'm not having a hard time today. This is a longer video. But yeah, she's not able to formally diagnose me. She's not allowed to by her job. But she said that I have all of the signs, and she definitely thinks I am. So I do have some like medical backing to mine. But even if you don't have that, like, who's gonna pretend to be autistic? Like, what's the value in that? It just doesn't make sense. People don't really do that, and I think that's just like, you know, kind of a way to shut people down and to words to just like put them down and treat them poorly because they don't have a formal diagnosis is cruel to me. If somebody believes that they're autistic and they've done a lot of independent research and they have all of the signs and they're utilizing things, you know, from the autistic community to help them, I just don't see the harm in that. And so the only reason I really want a formal diagnosis is because I have a lot of paranoid fears about being trapped in, you know, either a jail setting or a mental institution setting, and these fears are not entirely unfounded in my life, because I was taken to Cross Creek at a young age, and I was misdiagnosed and I was put on medication I didn't need and stuff like that. And so I just want, if anything ever happens like that with me, I just want to be able to tell them, you know, I'm autistic and I have these needs, and hopefully that would help. It doesn't guarantee it, but hopefully it would. So yeah, I don't blame anybody for not getting a diagnosis, and the community is very 50-50 split on people that do have diagnosis and don't. But whether you're diagnosed or not, like, most of the community completely understands and completely accepts self-diagnosis, and it's one of the few illnesses, even, you know, mental illnesses, that it is so widely accepted to be self-diagnosed. So yeah, I think that's interesting, and that is my autism thing for the day. My gratitude thing for the day, I am so grateful to be done with that court paperwork. Oh my gosh, I'm so grateful for that. I am also grateful that I was able to get myself some tasty food and some tasty beverages as a little treat, as a reward for accomplishing that and getting my court paperwork done and turned in and all of that. And I'm about to go inside. I'm at my house now. I'm about to go inside and have like a little mini celebration with my partner, that this is finally done. I finally accomplished it, and everything, you know, we can relax for just a brief moment today. So thanks for joining me. This was a very long video, so if you stuck around, thank you very much, and I will see you soon.